Yo, what is up, guys? This is your boy, Great Zage here, and this is another part to What If Bell Had Yami Sukehiros powers. I believe it is part 6 or 7. Not 100% sure, probably will know after I'm done making the video, but I hope you guys will enjoy the video. Now, I'm sorry I have not been posting this series in a while now, because, taking breaks and stuff, but now here I am, planning to continue in the series, as well as What If Naruto had a leveling system, so yeah. Plus, I will be continuing on my Sage Samurai channel as well, so there's that too. But with enough of these announcements, how about we go ahead and get started with the video. Hope y'all do enjoy, and either way, let's get started.
She gripping that dick like she was a lost star. She party at night like she was a rock star. She singing my song like Bella-dee-da. She calling me daddy but not her father. Little bit look at that she like big as some water. Could give you the world with the wave of a wand. We fairly hard bitch Cosmo and Wanda.
Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started with this what if. So we begin this what if with a time skip. So Bell had just woken up from the dungeon as he had been covered up by bandages, as Bell went ahead and instantly took them off. I don't even need bandages, I'm completely fine, he thinks. As he goes ahead and gets up, he'll go ahead and look around for his equipment, only to realize that the only thing that he had on him was a robe. As the bandage, after he took off the bandages, he was completely healed up. All he had was a white robe, as all his equipment and pretty much everything that he had on him was, gone. Great, where the hell am I now? At this, Bell would go ahead and get up as he exit out of the tent, only to see a bunch of people around, as this is when Bell realized that he was finally at the floor that they were going to. I got here just in time, he says. At this, he begins to recall the event until he realized that he beat an entire boss by by himself, and this pretty much made him really happy. However, during the time that Bell was in recovery, immediately Hestia was blasted with questions. Hermes especially. As after Bell's performance, we do a flashback. So as Bell went ahead and would just was now down onto one knee, panting heavily. Everyone else was going around to help him and everything, while Hestia actually stayed behind. Now, normally she would rush over to Bell immediately to take care of him, but right now she was just, she was right now in a very bad situation. Hermes was right now looking at Hestia with a look that just says, you got a lot of explaining to do, as if she was in trouble, which Hestia already knew that words gets out, which it will definitely get out, then Bell is going to be fully 100% a target. Shoot. So after that, Hermes went ahead and confronted Hestia, as he went ahead and asked her everything about Bell. What is he? Is he some sort of different human? As Hestia just remained silent about it, saying that, anything that involves her family and anything that involves Bell is only for her, only for her to know. But Hermes went ahead and just said, cut the bullshit, Hestia. As, although I bet some of you guys whoa, why is Hermes going all serious in this? It's because the power that, Bell just demonstrated is that of someone of a godly authority. He's able to slice through dimensions. That was an attack that not just sliced through this dimension, it sliced through multiple of them. And the fact that this boy was able to do it is enough to get enough to pique the god's interest of this. So they're right now trying to figure out is he even human? Is he even from this world? So that's why Hermes is sort of just asking the questions. As after a while, Hestia had no choice but to begin to explain to Hermes, in that she's been trying to figure it out herself for a while now, but it's just the fact that Bell is special in more ways than one. At this, Hermes was about to, continue pestering her, but that's when Bell woke up. As he now cut to Bell right now, he was just, he instantly got swarmed with a bunch of people, as, Lily, Wealth, as all of them were just, asking Bell if he was okay and everything, but Bell just shrugged it off, saying, I'm fine. Where's my equipment and stuff, he would say. At this, one random guy goes ahead and shouts out, being, oh, we put your stuff over there. As Bell would just nod to the guy, getting his stuff already. As soon as he puts it on, he's back to his regular drip and everything. As, this is when Lily shouts out, saying, but Bell, you're not supposed to move yet. But Bell's like, I'm fine. I got a little bit tired. That's it. At this, they were looking at him, in surprise, considering the fact that, for someone to be a boss all by himself and, he was a level 2, Like, he was like a level 2 adventurer. Like, come on now. As Bell, when he got done being dressed up, that's when he sees, Hestia and Hermes approaching. As Hestia instantly, rushed at Bell, giving him a hug. As Bell did nothing but pat her on the head. Well, it looks like things are going back to normal, he would think. As this is when something he would go ahead and look up and narrow his eyes at Hermes. Hermes was looking at Bell as he had a very serious expression on his face until he, drops it all off, showing a very goofy one. Hey, I have to admit, that was a very impressive showing. So tell me, how the heck did you do something like that? He would say, acting all buddy-buddy with Bell. As Bell went ahead and just narrowed his eyes, he was like, sorry, dude. I know what type of people, I know what type of person you are. At this, the man's like, really? At this, he will go ahead and nod. He then says, I'm not joining any familias. I'm not from another world or anything. This power is my own, and that's it. At this, Hermes will narrow his eyes as Bell as he then says, don't try to play it off just like that. We have much to discuss after this. As he goes ahead and looks at Hestia, Hestia would also have to have much to discuss, even though they shouldn't pry into familiar business. This is something that needed to be known by the gods, that someone literally had the power to slice the dimension. At this, Hestia just looks down. She knew about the controversy and pretty much everything that's going to happen after this. So after that, after Bell had recovered, the rest of the group went ahead and stayed there for a while on that floor until eventually they were able to leave. As Bell, most of the time, due to the help of some others, he would just go ahead and, slice down on the monsters that went ahead across them. As Bell had significantly gotten even stronger from the battle, which shocked Hermes and pretty much everyone in the group. It's like he's unstoppable or something. At this, Lily and Wealth just stopped being surprised. It's Bell now. Like, Bell is literally like a mystery to them. Even though they have known him for a while now, he was still a mystery. So eventually, after a while, they would have gotten out of the dungeon, of course. As, the whole thing in canon where Bell went ahead and challenged the beast and everything, that did not happen due to the fact that Bell already beat it. At this, after getting out, the Loki Familia went ahead and they also got out with them, as they go ahead and tell them that it was pleasant having them, with them, which they were not to. As just when they were about to go their separate ways, this is when actually Eyes would then speak up. May I ask something? She would ask as Asta goes ahead and Bell goes ahead and stops in his tracks. He then turns to her. Yeah, he would say. At this, she'll go ahead and ask, how did he get so powerful? At this, Bell goes ahead and looks at her as he then gives her a smirk. Nothing, just training, that's it. Nothing much. At this, he goes ahead and begins to walk away as Eyes went ahead and begin to follow him, much to an uncomfortableness of Bell. It makes no sense that you got all this strong by just training. This shouldn't be possible. Are you even human? As she begins to ask Bell multiple questions, as he really begins to get annoyed. He was like, if you were to compare Eyes right now, she'll be that annoying little brother, be like, you got games on your phone? And when you say no, he begins to ask multiple questions like why, or why you want me to play and everything, until he goes to complain to mom. Y'all have no idea how many times that happened to me. But either way, got sidetracked. At this, Bell began walking away, continuing until he just stops, until he arrives at the tavern. And he's like, fine, I'll explain some things, alright? But just stop, he would say. At this, she would nod. As Bell and Eyes would go ahead and enter the tavern, as they will go ahead and sit down and begin to get some food. Now at this, of course, Bell already knows that by tomorrow, all the attention is going to be on him, considering the fact that information like this is not going to be kept secret. Well, he doesn't really know for sure. Like, his ranking's not going to be kept secret, that's for sure, but like, I'm talking about his abilities. He doesn't know whether it's going to be put out to the world or not. After all, 2 gods have just realized about his power, and now things are getting a little bit risky for him. If the higher up gods or anyone else tries to come in to interfere with me, who knows what's going to happen. Bell had a feeling that his power was abnormal, as all he ever wanted was just that, be an adventurer, enjoy his time, but he knew deep down that something like that was not going to happen. Bell was just too unique. His power, his abilities, his forte, all of it, it's way different compared to regular people. As Bell was right now just, deep in thought, the food would have arrived as Eyes and Bell begin to eat their food. Alright, Sword Princess, tell me, what the heck do you want? At this, Eyes goes ahead and nods as she says, train. At this, Belle goes ahead and looks at her like, what? And she's like, I want you to train me. Now, this was the most shocking thing to happen. As everyone in the tavern had just stopped eating, as they were now baffled that the Sword Princess acted as this rookie to train. At this, Belle goes ahead and begins to groan. He's like, I'm not much of a sensei, he would say. At this, she would say, I'm not asking you to be a sensei. I'm asking you to become my training partner. Or I guess you can say guidance man or whatever. At this, Belle would just sighs. He then says, fine, unless you stop pestering me, first of all. Second of all, what is your reason for doing all this? As Eyes will actually begin to look down, she will begin to explain that, she believed that she actually really wanted to get even stronger, even though she was already powerful enough. But she believed that by getting stronger, she can go ahead and accomplish her goal. As when hearing this goal, Belle was actually interested in this, but he decided for now, it's better off just to go ahead and deal with this now than deal with this later. As he goes ahead and tells her to meet at a certain location by that time, as if she isn't there, then he's not even gonna do anything, as she would just nod at this. At this, Asta will go. Bro, I'm sorry, I continue getting confused about Belle and Asta. Jeez. At this, after waving her off, Belle goes ahead and begins to walk home. As soon as he does, you'll instantly begin to get berated by both Lily and Hestia as they begin to ask Belle several questions like, where did he go, what happened, as Belle just shrug it off. This is going to be a long ass time. Now, just to let you guys know, also, the whole confrontation with the guys, like it does in canon, didn't happen, considering the fact that, Belle could easily put those guys in fodder place. Like, those guys are nothing compared to him. And plus, Belle didn't even need new equipment because, he was already good to go. Like, he's the type of person that had, he's the type of person that in an RPG, he will have, like max stats and full-on clothing and armor and everything. So, Belle was already in set. As we go ahead and actually do a time skip to a couple of days. So, ever since the dungeon, news of Belle Crenel began to spread throughout the area as everyone was in shock of this guy. As Belle went ahead and got even higher of a rank, getting to a level 3. As Belle just goes ahead and freaking slams his head onto the table multiple times after that, as he just thinks like, stupid thing, as he really did not want extra attention and he already got by the female population. Speaking of which, Belle began to get pretty much annoyed as people actually began wanting to join the Hestia Familia, mostly certain females, as they want to get closer to said white hero, the wolf, as that was the nickname or moniker of Belle. He was known as the White Wolf, as he was able to considering the fact that his features and just the way that he looked sort of reminded him of a wolf, and that it was just like a predator waiting for his prey. So, yeah, that's why they called him that. Due to that, people would mostly have known him as the White Wolf, the famous rookie, and pretty much just this all-around powerful guy. As for Hestia, she was right now in deep doo-doo, considering the fact that she had to make a deal with Hermes on this certain topic. Flashback. As Hermes was right now just discussing with Hestia about what they should do with Belle, as Hestia was right now down on her knees, begging Hermes to not tell anyone about Belle's abilities. At this, Hermes just looks at Hestia and is like, why would I not tell the gods and the goddesses about this not even abnormal, this complete mystery that has just entered this? Something like that shouldn't be possible here, right? At this, Hestia would flinch, but not. She then says that Belle is not like others, and she just didn't want to do that to him. Even though Belle may look very mature, and even though Belle is stronger than most even see, for some odd reason, she can tell that deep inside, Belle is just pretty much facing all his problems already, and she doesn't want him to gain more problems than he already has. Now at this, Hermie goes ahead and sighs as he was about to go ahead and take full advantage of Hestia, but this is when his second commander of the Familia goes ahead and steps up saying, "Don't worry, we will keep the secret." Like this, Hermes goes ahead and looks at her and be like, "But we can go ahead and use this," he would say, in a very strained voice. But this is when the woman eyes him with a glare. I'm not gonna allow you to take advantage of a helpless goddess. You're a scumbag, you know that? At this, Hermes was heartbroken by this. He's like, "I'm not a scumbag. I just what you call appreciate feminine charm." At this, both Hestia and Hermes' commander went ahead and looked at him like, "Nah, you're just nothing but a grade A pervert," as they go ahead and beat down on Hermes. So after that, Hermes sort of made the deal that they won't tell anything about Belle, but it's just that they need to make sure that Belle doesn't try to release some stuff like that again, or else they can't stop it. So somehow, some way, Belle's secret was still safe for now. As that was not the only thing that had occurred. Another one being that Belle actually began to train sometimes with Eyes Wallenstein of the Loki Familia. Now, Eyes had gotten this weird feeling about Belle. It was so weird to her, considering the fact she never knew what it felt like. But she had this feeling for Belle, but she didn't really know what it was. As her and Belle continued training, she would realize the pure gap in their abilities, which shocked her, considering the fact that she was experienced. She had a lot of experience in the dungeon, and she was able to take on bosses by herself. So how the heck is this newbie adventurer beating her? As Belle was able to beat her over and over, and each time he would make her surrender, considering the fact that Belle was just powerful. At this, Belle just tells her that both of them have different fighting styles, and that each fighting style has a way to go for their suitors. At this, she just asks, if he can learn his fighting style, but this is when he shakes his head, saying that my fighting style won't suit you. Considering the fact that Belle, due to the fact of his abilities of reading ki, able to go ahead and use a katana very swiftly. Not very elegant, but he's able to use speed and force pretty much he's able to go ahead and counter attacks extremely easily, while also going ahead and able to inflict massive amount of damage by using his dark magic. So due to all this factoring into each other, you could already tell that Eyes was way behind him. As Eyes continued trying to speed blitz Belle would just go ahead and read her ki. He then says, "You're becoming too obvious," as he dodges one of her sword slashes that was going to knock him out. He dodged again, she would think. However, this is when suddenly she would then be kneed in the gut, causing her to stagger up a bit, as this is when she would then be slammed with the blunt of the blade in her stomach, getting sent flying and slamming to a wall. At this, that was another thing. Belle, okay, look, if you challenge Belle to a fight and you're a female, don't consider no special treatment here, alright? He don't care. He will literally win, alright? Now, I'm not saying that he will go openly and just attack someone out of no reason. If you're gonna fight Belle and you're a female, then prepare for a natural fight. You ain't gonna go ahead and see him do mercy I'm gonna hold back because you're a girl. Plus, I also feel like that's very disrespectful as hell. Seriously, that's gotta be some disrespect right there. But still, Belle's still giving her the works. As Eyes right now is just getting up, she'll go ahead and groan in pain. As Belle goes ahead and just looks at her, he just sighs. Come on. It's not as if you're dead, right? At this, she just gives him a small little glare, which Belle goes ahead and shrugs off. As he tells her to come on, so that way they can go ahead and get some food. Now Belle was just became friendly with the Sword Princess, not really becoming like her, not really having any feelings for her and anything. Considering to him, they're all just good friends to him. Like, yes, they're attractive and everything, but Bell, he's not right now just in the mood for a relationship right now. Right now, he's more focused on his goal, all right? Right now, he's like, no time for the booty. Not now. As he's right now more focused on that grind. Damn. So as Bell and pretty much Ice goes ahead and walks into a tavern, they go ahead and get food, of course. As they once again get some food, they eat it up, and they will go their different ways. As Bell begins to actually go back into the dungeon, begins to take care of a bunch of monsters, as pretty much that would pretty much be the end of like the season 1 of it, I believe. Yeah, that would be the end of season 1. As we go ahead and go to the next one. So we pretty much do a time skip. So it's been a while since Bell's thing has occurred, and multiple of the gods and goddesses are impressed by this rookie, as he was so powerful already. As it didn't make any sense. How could someone so young be so powerful? And some of the people who actually recognized Bell were in shock that the same guy that they turned down was so powerful. As Bell actually had to go ahead and he had to resist the urge to beat the shit out of these people. Actually, you know what? Not even gonna lie. Bell literally beat the shit out of these people. Considering the fact that some people would run up on Bell saying, join the Familia and just dump that Hestia Familia. Even though these were the same people that went ahead and you can't join our Familia because this and this and that. So, and if Bell hates one thing, is bipolar ass people. If you can't make a decision in front of his face, then get out of here. As Bell would literally beat the crap out of them and walk away, as he had no time to deal with this bull. As well as over time, Bell began to, once again fork in the money, as Lily and Wealth had also begun to make a miniature fortune as well due to adventuring with Bell. As Bell was nearly able to take on pretty much everything in the dungeon single-handedly. His speed, his strength, all of it was so powerful that pretty much nothing really surprised Bell anymore. Also, Bell began to utilize his magic more proficiently, considering the fact he realized ever since that dungeon, he realized that he had so much hidden potential that he had not tapped into. And that's sort of that was sort of surprising to him, considering the fact that he always trains hard, do push-ups, sit-ups. He goes ahead and lifts extreme amounts of weights. He goes ahead and does a lot of things to make himself stronger, and to realize that he still hadn't reached his full potential was surprising to him. But then again, this just motivated Bell even further to become even stronger. So eventually, over time, we now go ahead and cut to the present, where we see Bell and pretty much the rest of his, the group, as Lily and Wealth were there, as they were right now celebrating Wealth that he went ahead and ranked up. Now, at this, Wealth was thanking Bell once again for allowing him to join his party, but Bell just shrugged it off, saying, "Don't worry about me, man," as he went ahead and takes a large sip of the booze. At this, Lily was also happy for Wealth, but she was enjoying her time. As little did they know, over there in the corner, a bunch of people were giving them the stink eye, as they were more or less looking at Bell. But Bell could give two fucks about what these people think, considering the fact that who the heck are they? They don't know him, so screw off. However, this is when suddenly one of the guys would go ahead and get up, as was one of the younger ones, who looks like a midget. As the man goes ahead and begins to walk over to them, he'd go ahead and slam his palm on the desk. Well, bunch of nobodies celebrating. Don't act all tough, record holder, he would say as he looks at Bell. At this, Bell just shrugged it off. He then says, "Kid, I think you're lost. Your mom went ahead and left you here or something?" At this, the others had to stop themselves from laughing as the kid gets angry and says, "I'm not a kid here. If anyone's a kid, it's you. I'm pretty sure you're not even all that tough. All that muscle for nothing," he would say. As he goes ahead and begins to taunt Bell, saying that he was a nobody, and that it doesn't matter how far he ranks up or anything, he'll be nothing compared to them. At this, however, this didn't faze Bell or any one of them, as Bell goes ahead and pays for the food, he just looks at the kid. "Whatever, kid, listen up. While you go home, get back to mommy. I can obviously tell that you're cranky because you're already past your bedtime. So go get some sleep, alright? He would say in a very mocking tone. At this, the other members of his group can't help but laugh at his joke, while the other guy who gets pissed off, he then says, "Shut up, you're nobody from a loser familia. The only thing famous about your goddess is that she has 2 big boobs for a lolly." At this, silence would go ahead and, silence would fall all over the tavern. Until suddenly purplish aura would then shoot out of Bell, causing the kid to actually step back up as he looks up in fear. Bell's eyes would then be covered by the shade of his hair as his eyes were glowing dangerously red. "The fuck did you say to me?" At this, the other guys in the kid's familia will go ahead and get up and then says, "What? Don't act all tough now, brat." At this, Bell would just shrug it off until he goes ahead and says, "Fine. Don't worry, I'm about to end every last one of y'all in the freaking hospital real quick. Y'all about to see what I'm about to do to you." At this, each one of them would say, "Don't you dare mock us," as he goes ahead and rushes at Bell, as every last one of them begin to rush at Bell at top speeds. At this, Wealth and Lily just stay on the side, as they already know that these guys are nothing compared to Bell. This man was able to defeat a boss by himself, and he was only level 2 at that time. This Bell is level 3. And y'all think you're gonna do shit? Alright. It's your funeral. As they go ahead and rush Bell with the just pure aura alone just shoots off just an intimidating aura, pushing them back. What the hell? As each one of the members try to get close to Bell, they just can't. As they go ahead and try to push forward, but it's completely useless. Look at you. You can't even touch me. That's why you're so pathetic. At this, Bell will go ahead and begin to step towards them, pushing them back even further as he begins to speak. "I do not personally give 2 fucks about what you think of me. To be honest, you're just a bunch of nobodies from a low-rated familia. I don't give a damn about who your god or goddess is, but let me go ahead and tell you something straight." At this, he goes ahead and looks down at the kid, who is right now quaking in fear, as this is when Bell goes ahead and stomps on the ground, sending the kid actually flying through the air, as Bell would then punch the kid in the face, getting him sent flying through the whole entire tavern. Now, this is not Mamma Mia's tavern, okay? So, she's good. This is just a random tavern, of course. As the kid gets sent flying, the other members of his family will be surprised that he did it so effortlessly, as Bell would then turn to the rest of them. "That was your only warning." As everyone just looking at him like, "That was a warning? You just punch a kid through the freaking tavern." As they were now afraid of that was a warning, what the fuck is not a warning? So with that, Bell will go ahead and walk off, as this is when Lily and Wealth will follow along, until Lily goes ahead and sniffs the air. "Hey, Wealth, do you smell that?" At this, Wealth will go ahead and smell it as well. He's like, "Yeah, you're right, I do smell that." As both of them will then turn to the others with a smirk. "Smells like bitch in here." As they go ahead and walk away, they will leave the other members in shock in the audacity that these guys just did to them. They turned each one of them into their bitch. As after that moment had occurred, unlike in canon where they had to go back home because they lost pretty much, here Bell didn't even get scratched. Now he didn't even get a scratch. As he goes ahead and returns home, he goes ahead and actually gets ready for bed, making some food, of course, for Hestia as he goes to bed. However, unbeknownst to Bell, that familia was the Apollo familia, as they actually went directly towards their god, telling them about what happened, as the man was just having a big smile on his face. Perfect, he would just think. As, all the members were complaining, this is when the man would just go ahead and silence them, saying, "Don't worry, I'll have things taken care of. Besides, I want that little wolf by my side," he would say. As the members would just, surprised at this, but they will nod, as they would just say that they will follow his orders, which he would just have a smile on his face. As after he goes ahead and dismisses them, he will then turn to look out, as he then smiles. "I'll have you soon, my little white wolf." As he goes ahead and gets a perverted grin on his face. Well, not a perverted one, but a very disturbing one. At this, all the way back in, with Bell, he'll go ahead and sense this weird, he'll feel a bad omen had fallen upon him. He would just shrug it off, saying, "Whatever, anything that comes after me, I'll take it on." As he goes ahead and falls asleep. So at the very next day, Bell goes ahead, he got dressed early, he of course made breakfast for the goddess, who was still asleep. "Goodbye, goddess, I'm going out," he would say. He goes ahead and walks out with a toothpick in his mouth. Bell would eventually arrive at the guild, where he goes to get the permission to enter the dungeon, which he decides to go solo on this one. As after a while, Belle had once again gotten a new haul of a bunch of money, which was very happy to him. As the reason why Belle went to the dungeon alone this time was because apparently there was some sort of event going on with the other familias that the others needed to attend. So with that, Belle would have gone ahead, got the big bag of money, as he went ahead and stuffed it back into pretty much their vault, which used to be a basement. As after dumping the money bag in there, he'll go ahead and then walk upstairs, considering the fact they, like I said, they lived in an apartment. As when he goes ahead and walks upstairs, you actually see, Hestia, who's looking down. Goddess, are you okay? He would ask. At this, Hestia would nod. She would then say the Polo family had invited them and other gods and goddesses to this party or whatever. At this, Belle would just nod and says, so, okay, how long are you gonna be gone? This is when she shakes her head, saying that she also wants them to bring their members with them, as Belle was actually surprised at this. So we go ahead and do a time skip to when Belle had arrived, as he had dressed tonight. Now, this man was dripping, alright? This man was in a full tuxedo. This man looked classy as hell. Puts Gucci to shame. As the man was clean right now, you would also see Hestia, who was there in her dress and everything, as Belle has told her that, you could use the money whenever you wanted, as she went ahead and bought a very expensive dress. So, what do you think? She would say, trying to fish for compliments. At this, Belle was just not saying, you look very elegant, my goddess. As she goes ahead and gives Belle a big old smile, giving him a big old hug, as Belle would just sigh. Troublesome, he would think. As somewhere very far away in another world, actually, we see this pineapple-haired man as he then sneezes. Troublesome, he would think. So all the way back with Belle, he'll go ahead and take Goddess Hestia with her arm around his arm, as they will both enter into this party. Now, as they go ahead and enter in there, it was completely elegant, full with food and different gods and goddesses there. As this is when Hestia will begin to look around, actually to go ahead and see some of the people that she actually knows. As while walking around, Belle would also begin to walk around as well, looking around the entire area. As he had to admit, it was very fancy and everything. Not his cup of tea. But then again, when did Belle ever give two craps about what other people think? As he was going ahead and walking around, this is when he suddenly accidentally bumped into someone, or at least nearly bumped into someone, as this person was not looking where she was going. Sorry, miss, he would say. At this, the said person would go ahead and shake it off, saying, no, it's fine, until they both look at each other. Belle, she would say. Sword Princess? Belle would say as he goes ahead and looks at her, as this was none other than Eyes Wallenstein. Now, a while these two had been training together, but eventually that training came to a stop. As Belle, eventually over time, that they just stopped, considering the fact that she decided to train more on her own. But they still sometimes talked to each other whenever they saw each other. As Belle and Eyes were looking at each other, Eyes actually, the reason why she stopped was because there was something that was going on with her. She didn't really want to explain it, but each time she would look at Belle, her cheeks would go ahead. And I'm talking about the cheeks on her face, alright? Dirty-minded people. As she goes ahead, and each time she would actually blush at every single time she would see Belle. And each time this warm feeling that she gets will get stronger. But due to that, at the point it got so intense that there was times where she even thought about doing certain things. As she eventually thought that it was too much for her, so she had to cool down. But that didn't stop the feelings from growing. In fact, it just grew even stronger. As she was right now looking at Belle, she would go ahead and have a fierce blush on her face, which Belle would just shrug it off, thinking like, well, it is pretty damn hot in here with people wearing tuxedos and shit. So, due to that, Belle would go ahead and tell her, is her goddess here or anything? Which she would nod, saying that she accompanied her goddess Loki here. As Belle would go ahead and begin to look around, this is when suddenly he would then hear two people shouting, as he swears it sounds like two bachis screaming at each other. I could already tell one of those voices, he would think. As when he goes ahead and turns, he would then see his goddess and Loki both fighting against each other, as both of them were pretty much having this, girl street brawl or something. As you know, both of them were arguing with each other. Belle will go ahead and get into their way, pushing them both back. Enough, both of you. As he then turns to Hestia, Goddess, you're better than this, he would say. At this, Hestia would go ahead and look down a little bit of shame, considering the fact that, yeah, this was a bit childish for her. As for Loki, she was surprised that this human had the nerve to even stand up to her, until she then realizes who it is. Oh wait, you're that famous rookie. Can't believe that you're a level 3. As she goes ahead and begins to eye Belle up and down, as she has to admit, the kid's good looking. However, to her, he was only second to eyes. Well, you're not as good as my eyes, but I have to admit, you are quite pleasing. So how about it? Why don't you join my familia? At this is when Hestia begins to argue with her again, saying that Belle was going to stay with her, and pretty much the whole argument fall all over again. Great. At this, however, this one suddenly someone would then commence the ball, as people would begin to dance with each other. As Hestia was too focused on Loki to even do anything, this is when Belle would actually be tapped on the shoulder by someone. At this, you'll go ahead and turn around, as she would see Eyes, who was blushing very hard, as she would actually go ahead and ask him for a dance. At this, Belle will go ahead and shake his shoulder, saying, sure, why not? As he goes ahead and gives her his hand, as she, well, actually, no, it's the other way around, as she actually gives her his hand, her hand, as she goes ahead and both of them will go ahead and take each other's hands. They begin to dance around, like they did so in canon. Now at this, Belle was at first not really sure how to do this, but he would eventually get the hang of it, as he and her will begin to dance around with each other. As people were just marveled by these two, as one had the wild look yet attractive one, while one had an elegant look. As people had to admit, this was spectacular. Some of them wanted to take a picture of this and savor it. As while Loki and Hestia were both looking on with jealousy, considering the fact that was their family member dancing with another family member. Like, come on now. So after a while of dancing, however, this one suddenly would then be interrupted by Apollo. As he goes ahead and snaps his cup, saying, excuse me, I'd like to bring forth some attention, if you may. At this, he began to explain about a certain thing that happened between the Hestia familia and the Apollo familia, as this is when suddenly the snot-nosed brat will go ahead and begin to enter into the room. As he had a whole casket and everything on it, he then began to go and put on a whole drama thing, saying that the Hestia familia's brutes went ahead and brutally beat him up for no good reason. At this, everyone was just gasping and looking in awe, while Hestia just looks at Belle like, Belle, did you beat him up that badly? At this, however, this is when Belle's like, cut the shit. As he goes ahead and activates his, the aura, as this is when suddenly everyone in the room would then feel the pressure, as some of the gods were actually in shock, including Loki and some of the other ones, as they were surprised at this. Apollo was also in shock, as he even stepped back a bit, while Hestia was just a little bit frightened by it. At this, the kid instantly stopped whatever the heck was he doing, as he actually literally dropped all the act and everything, as he goes ahead and backs away. Just stop, please. As he goes ahead and was actually like fearing for his life. At this, Belle goes ahead and stops Yorzin and smirks. Well, looks like you're all better, aren't you? As everyone would then stop from their temporary fear to look at the kid, only to see that he was completely fine walking around. You liar, said some of the people, as they all look at Apollo, as they already know, like they were right now like looking at the kid like, what the hell is wrong with you and everything, as the kid was embarrassed. However, Apollo was just furious, as he just grits his teeth. Well, no matter. Your familia still attacked my own, and you must compensate for it, Hestia, she would say. At this, Hestia was looking down until she actually asked, fine, then what do we do, she would say. At this, the man would then smile, as he then says that he was going to propose a game. As this was going to be a game that it would be his familia versus the Hestia familia. And that whoever wins, well, if he wins, he gets a certain someone. As he eyes Belle up and down with a very weird smile on his face. As Belle looking at this, he will go ahead and use this opportunity to crack one of his wise ones. Sorry, man, I don't swing that way, he would say. At this, everyone would stop whatever the heck they were doing as they would begin to actually try their best to not laugh, as the man would just go ahead and just look at Belle, but then turn back. Whatever. As she goes ahead and turns to Hestia. Well then, Hestia, would you accept? He would say. At this, Hestia would go ahead and look around, and she was now feeling the pressure of this, as she really did not want to go through with this. Belle, what do we... However, this is when Belle speaks up. We accept. At this, Hestia will look at Belle in shock as Apollo will have a ginormous smile on his face. Perfect! We will set this up very soon. As Hestia will look at Belle in shock and she would say, Belle, don't you understand what's happening here? But Belle would just shake his head saying, we'll win. Trust me. At this, she wants to disagree, but after everything that Belle has shown, she began to relax for now. Well, Belle is incredibly strong, but still, he can't take on an entire family by himself, right? She was really worried, but then again, she also had a ton of faith, as this was the same Belle that took on a boss by himself, and he was only level 2. As he'll go ahead and as Apollo will go ahead and tell them about the certain time and date that they will have to prepare, as this is when he will go ahead and walk off. At this, however, this is before Belle will go ahead and say, if I win, by the way, if we win, then you have to go ahead and hand over all your essentials. I'm talking about your mansion, your money, all of it. As the man and everyone else would stop in their tracks, he would then smirk. Very well. Very well, I'll compete for that. As everyone was looking at this and shouted like, oh my god, and everything. As, you know, they were just thinking like, damn, this kid got the biggest balls in the universe or something like that, considering the fact that this man is talking to a god, as if he were equals. As after that, this is where I'm going to go ahead and end this what if. So, yep, this is like around like the season 2 part around it. So, yeah, I'll be trying my best to go ahead and complete this, you know, what if and everything. Hope you all do enjoy. Hope you all, you know, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. And I hope y'all will come back for more. But anyway, guys, it is Great Zage, and I'm out. Peace.